Today we're in the heart of sunny Durban to find out a little bit more about a very special project that is, of course, Wheelchairs of Hope, run by the one and only Wizo. We're going to find out more about a very specific special case about a sweet boy and his loving mother. We're ready to get going. Make sure that you stay tuned.
Wizo is the largest international volunteer women's organization. And to be represented in a tiny corner of Durban, South Africa is interesting. It makes us part of a global network of powerful women that take care of the rights of women and children around the world. It connects us globally to just an amazing community.
The Wheelchairs of Hope project is Wizo's passion project for giving to kids in need in South Africa. We are able to bring in these wonderful purpose-built for children wheelchairs that are made in Israel. So it's the link to Israel, and we're providing something that nobody else in South Africa is able to provide, which is means of transport, means of mobilization, and means of dignity for the children and their families.
The freedom of movement that it gives the children, that autonomy that it gives them in their little spiffy red Ferrari wheelchair or their green or blue, they are nothing like any other wheelchair. They are lightweight, the children can move them themselves, and they are literally the only wheelchair that I know of in the world that the children are able to move themselves and strengthen themselves and play in the playground and be cool. The wheelchair handovers are always so emotional. On the one hand, we involve ourselves in a community that has so much need, and usually women with their children who have seen nothing but hardship in their lives. I don't think we could imagine what it is to be them. Our most heartfelt projects are those in rural communities where we have trundled those wheelchairs down a mountainside to informal settlement at the bottom to give a wheelchair to a child who rarely leaves that, who lives there amongst the goats and the chickens with his grandmother, and you place him in that wheelchair. And the moments that are most amazing are when they start to move themselves in the wheelchair. We've had kids who, like, in 5 minutes, they are popping wheelies and they're like zooming down the dust. It's amazing. And you just know you have changed, firstly, that child's future. That child now has an opportunity to go to school and get an education, to play with its siblings and friends and do things that other kids are able to do. And the burden that it takes off his mother and his family, his extended family, that he can go places. To see that child just blossom with that pride and sense of self that everybody should have, everybody's right, that makes all the difference. Those are emotional moments. Our expertise is the emotion that we pour into it, the effort and energy we pour into fundraising and finding recipients to the wheelchairs. But we don't have the expertise in the disabilities and the handicaps of the children. Every single child is unique and their needs are unique. So the chair has its limitations. It has a weight limitation, and it also doesn't offer the kind of support a child who is unable to have upper body mobility and strength. It doesn't offer that. So the child has to be able to have a little bit of core strength, hold its own body weight up, and be able to maneuver the chair itself. So because we don't have that expertise, we rely on the relationship with APC and other therapists and caregivers to understand more the relationship between the needs of the child and what the chair can offer.
A lot of our services are directed towards assisting people with physical disabilities, such as counseling skills to help them cope, support groups for caregivers, mothers, as well as the disabled person themselves. And then a big part of our work is access to resources, and that's how we have partnered with Wizo Wheelchairs for Hope.
The part that Wizo plays in the Wheelchairs of Hope project is they are designed and built in Israel. We raise the funds here to bring them to South Africa and find the recipients. So we fundraise, and when we have raised enough funds, we bring a shipment out from Israel and we distribute them around the country, and we are constantly looking for both donors and recipients. And to be able to marry the two of them is our pleasure. Wizo's primary objective is to break the cycle and empower children and women to change their lives and make a different future. So if you imagine in the wheelchair project, a child who had no access to an education now has access to an education and their lives are changed forever. That is the whole ethos of Wizo, that we take children who are in a difficult situation and we change their lives, and they have access to a whole world that everybody else does. What can be more important than that? Nothing. The synergy between Derek Eretz and what the Wheelchair of Hope achieves in the child's life is it gives them autonomy over their own body. It gives them dignity. It gives them hope. It gives them freedom. It gives them the opportunity to participate in normal life like everybody else. And that's very empowering and very important. And we love what we do. It fills up our hearts and our souls to make a difference, to make a tangible difference in South Africa to the kids who are marginalized, who need us the most. And that's why we do it.
Wizo, haciendo lo que importa.